located in Midtown Memphis.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus. Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6. It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Tick, that clock is ticking. Sunday is NBA Lottery Day. Where will fate have the Grizz pick? We'll talk about that. Maybe some lottery stories. Pete Pranica is going to join us here in a few minutes. Did you see this, Landon Schmidt? Just last night, the Cubs had another walk-off win. That is 3 straight games. The Cubs win the game in a walk-off. I don't think I've ever seen that anywhere, any place. That has to be a record. 3 straight games with the Cincinnati Reds, all walk-off wins for the Cubs, who've won 8 in a row after a 10-game winning streak a little bit ago, and now have won 14 straight games in Wrigley Field. Landon, have you ever seen a team? It's probably out there. Sorry, I don't remember any team in the history of the game winning 3 straight walk-off games.
Not in recent memory, but I know it's happened.
It probably has, but I don't know when.
Yeah, I just don't. I'm racking my brain right now trying to think of what team pulled that off.
Tim Doolin on baseball, that comes.
He should know.
Yeah, that's hard to do. On your last
I think maybe the Mets had something to do with it last year, maybe?
The Mets 3 in a row?
I don't know. They had a lot of walk-off wins last year. I knew that.
Well, like
maybe not
three in a year wouldn't be the most, I would suspect. But 3 in a row, I just can't remember that. And we promoted the heck out of having Penny Hardaway on yesterday. And then, Penny did not come on. Well, Penny, after the show, got a hold of me and apologized profusely. He was ill and really could not make the show. So just wanted to let you know, because a lot of you had responded on our text line, your disappointment. So Penny has apologized, and Penny has agreed to come on tomorrow in the 10-10 slot. So hopefully we will have the head coach of the Memphis Tigers on tomorrow at 10-10. Speaking of which, did you see the Players Era Tournament? It was started, I think, either by Fox or TNT. I know TNT had it for a bit. That's that thing in Vegas that was to provide NIL money.
Yeah.
It's what a powerful lineup they've got. It's going to be 2 brackets, 24 teams, an 8-team bracket, a 16-team bracket. It is now a November tournament, and it is moving to ESPN. There will be millions of dollars in NIL money. Defending champion Michigan's in. The Big 8 of the 24 teams gets 8 of them because their commissioner, Brett Yormark, had the foresight to do a deal with the Era's people right off the bat. So they get a third of the field. I know Tennessee is in this. Michigan, the defending champs, are in this tournament. This is really big for exposure, and it's big for NIL money. So a heck of a deal, and we know that now is still in existence. Other newsworthy events. Aaron Rodgers scheduled to be in Pittsburgh talking to management. He's re-signing with the Steelers. He will be the Steelers quarterback this year. And I can't blame him. I'm not saying he had a year last year like LeBron James is having. LeBron James, I've said this over and over, might be the greatest old player ever to play any game. The only guy close that I can think of is Gordie Howe. But Rodgers had a good enough year, and if you look at the Pittsburgh alternatives, you'll get more W's out of Aaron Rodgers than you will anybody else.
They're not going with Mason Rudolph or Will Howard.
No. I did hear this argument. I think it was on The Herd with Colin Cowherd. And the guy that's the co-host, that's a very interesting take on so many things. He made the point, he must be an NBA guy. He made the point that they would be better served. Let's say they win 7 games with Aaron Rodgers, they should go with Mason Rudolph and win 4 games and get a great quarterback in the draft. This is a NBA tank kind of philosophy. And Colin Cowherd said, NFL coaches want to win. You don't go into this to get a better draft choice. You go into this to win games. That's really what you're supposed to do. That's why I just keep thinking drafts they're killing the game. Although I did find it interesting, the Eli Savoy, Greg Gaston discussion, they were doing a poll on the worst things, and Eli said he thought the worst thing over tanking. And tanking, according to this poll of fans, was not the biggest issue in the NBA, which surprised me because I think load management and tanking, and they kind of go together, is the biggest issue. But he was talking about flopping. I got a great way to stop flopping. Now, you have to challenge the play if you really think it's a flop. But if you're Karl Anthony Towns, who's a known flopper, right? And you get called out because they challenge that play, they see that you flopped. Boop, technical. You're not flopping again in that game because 2 T's and you're done. Call these things, challenge these things, and if the referee sees a flop, assess a technical to the flopping player. He's not flopping again in that game. So basically, you're going to get 1 per game. That is what I would do. Last thing, and then we will bring in the television voice of the Grizzlies. That is Pete Pranica. But Golden Tempo, from last to first winner of the Derby with the very first female trainer who won a Kentucky Derby, is out of the Preakness. The statement from the ownership and training group of Golden Tempo said, more time is needed to recoup after the Derby effort. They do hope to run in the Belmont. So this would be the second year in a row. Remember, Sovereignty last year did not run the race. And it just seems apparent, we've talked about this for 2 or 3 years now, the 5-week distance for the modern horse. I have no idea why this is, if it's the evolutionary process that they've gotten much bigger and stronger, and it's a little like NBA players that can't play a whole season without load management. I don't know what it is. That 5-week historic time space between the Derby race and the Belmont race, which is the longest, that has had a historic perspective. But apparently it's not good enough, because now the trend is to skip the Preakness. And to give you more evidence of that, from what I've read so far, none of the Derby's 18 horses, including the winner, have entered the Preakness. It would tell me you're going to have to back up this space to 7 weeks or 8 weeks. However you do it, the Triple Crown should still be important because it promotes the sport. But if you can't get horses to run in all 3, it just doesn't seem to have its relevance. They have got to adjust that schedule, in my estimation. As I sit in the Family Leisure Studios and remind you, we got the Battle of the Brands. They're calling it the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Expo. We like to say it's the Battle of the Brands because there's 7 manufacturers all fighting for your business, with hot tubs starting at under $3,500 and those huge high-tech swim spas under $17,000. And if you mention Sports 56, you get a free cover lift with your spa purchase. Just get to I-40 and Whitten Road. Just go a little bit to the north. You'll see it on the east. That's Family Leisure, where the Battle of the Brands is going on. We go across Ridgeway and catch up with our friend, the TV voice of the Grizz, Pete Pranica. Let's start with this lottery. Who knows? Fate will be kind, but I'm curious if you've got any good lottery stories over all your years. Good morning.
Good morning. Really, the only lottery story that I have, I've not been directly involved in it, was in the Greg Oden draft. And, of course, there was a big lottery party. And walking out of there, when the Grizzlies, felt that they were going to get Greg Oden with the number 1 overall pick, they slipped to 4, and it's like that was the most morose gathering I think I'd ever been a part of, because you looked at it and you're like, well, we wanted Greg Oden, we're not going to get him, and we're stuck, quote unquote, with Mike Conley. Who would have thought all these years later Mike Conley would have had a much longer and productive career than Greg Oden? So that's really the only story that I have, because I was emceeing this draft lottery party, and it started out with great enthusiasm and ended not very happy.
Since you mentioned Mike Conley, our good friend Dennis Philippi texted me this last night. This is amazing, and it was a tough night last night for Minnesota, but that was Mike Conley's 116th playoff game. That ended up, with the way Oden went, that ended up being a really good move for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, I mean, you just wouldn't have figured it. Mike Conley was the short, skinny sidekick who didn't shoot all that well, and yet he's had an amazing career. But Anthony Edwards, who is very opinionated about a lot of things, just sang Mike's praises. What a great vet he has been, what a great influence he has been, and now without Dante DiVincenzo, they really need him. So it was a good trade, waive, re-sign, that whole circuitous route that routed him back to Minnesota anyway at the trade deadline.
I remember watching Oden and Mike Conley in the NCAAs in San Antonio, Texas, and the Tigers getting whooped after Joey Dorsey made a thing about Greg Who. And I would have thought Oden would have been the guy. It's a shame. There are a few people that you think are just going to be terrific that just don't pan out. And that happened with Oden, and it was really all injury.
Yeah, it was. Portland has been, throughout their history, they have really been sidetracked with injury, whether it was Sam Bowie, whether it was Greg Oden.
That's what I was going to go next, was Bowie.
And
they could have had Michael Jordan.
Yeah. And even Brandon Roy, who had an outstanding career in Portland, but that career was cut short due to injury. Same for Damian Lillard.
Yeah. They've been pretty snake bit, that is for sure. The one, I guess, I think, Ja is the best surprise, right? You were either gonna get one or two, and really most people would have said you were going to win either way. I think we all knew how good Ja had the potential of being. I want to say, was Elliot Perry the rep for that?
I would think so. I think Elliott's been the rep on multiple occasions, actually. So I don't know if he'll be there in Secaucus or who the Grizzlies will designate to go there.
Okay, it's in Secaucus, not in Chicago.
You know what? I just typically I think it is conducted in Secaucus. I don't know. I
Okay.
probably needed to double check.
Yeah.
Maybe it is in Chicago. I mean, the draft combine is in Chicago. I know that.
Right. And you don't know who the Grizz are sending as their rep then?
Don't know, but I decided. You had texted me this morning about what we're going to talk about, and I was thinking I think they should send Brevin Knight.
Well, it wouldn't be a bad idea, but does he bring you good luck? I know he's pretty good on a golf course.
Hey, why not? Look, you can bring all the horseshoes and four-leaf clovers. It really doesn't matter at the end of the day. But he's a Jersey guy. If they are having it in Secaucus, it'd be an easy commute for him.
So this will be the culmination of a tumultuous year with a lot of teams not necessarily trying to win because this draft class seems to be so darn talented. Give me your thoughts on what the NBA has come up with. It's interesting. There was apparently a poll to fans, and the majority thought that the tanking issue was a small problem, not a big problem. That a big problem or no problem at all actually were tied, like 26%, and it was in the 40s, whatever it was, for just being a small problem. But it has been addressed by Adam Silver. I'm not sure I can figure out the way they're trying to anti-tank, but your thoughts on these formulas?
I think it's a little bit convoluted. What they're trying to do is, if you are the absolute worst record, that you're going to get one less lottery combination than teams above you, which sounds a little weird. but for the fact that if you really try to be the absolute worst, you're going to have lesser odds of having the number one overall pick. The whole thing's very convoluted, and I'm not going to try to describe it here. My thought, honestly, Wolo, would be take everybody that doesn't make the playoffs, flat odds across the board, and then what you do is you go and say no one can get a top 3 pick in consecutive years, or a top 5 pick in 3 years in a row, and you mitigate some of that by putting those limitations on it. I understand what they're trying to do, and it's a very convoluted system. But Evan Wash is the executive VP of the NBA for data and analytics. He's a brilliant guy. He's the guy who came up and really was the godfather of the in-season tournament and the play-in tournament. And every time he comes up with one of these things, he says, "Trust me, I think it's going to work." And he's a really smart guy. So hopefully it will. Now, they do have, if this is passed, now this has not been voted on yet by the Board of Governors. If it is passed, buried in the proposal is that they could sunset it in 2029. So if you do it for a couple of years and you realize that, maybe this isn't the best way, it's not a forever thing. They can say, in 2029, you know what, good thought, good intentions, bad results, kind of like the 65-game minimum for league leader for postseason awards.
Right.
So they've got an out basically.
You know what? I don't think in sport anywhere there's nothing forever. Nothing.
True.
Taylor Jenkins was brought forth front and center to the Milwaukee Bucks fans yesterday, introduced as the new head coach of the team in Milwaukee. You're familiar with that team. You grew up in Wisconsin, so I think you had at one time an allegiance to that ball club. You know Taylor Jenkins from being the announcer for 6 years of his tenure here. How do you think that marriage will work? And it may start with, will Giannis be around?
Yeah, that's very intriguing because Bill Haslam, the governor, said, we need to figure this out before the draft. So I would imagine that when Taylor interviewed, there were conversations about Giannis, whether he would be there or not. My understanding is that Taylor did have a good working relationship with Giannis, and maybe that's part of John Horst, the general manager's thought process. Hey, let's bring in someone who is familiar with the organization, familiar with Giannis, that might be a sales pitch to Giannis to keep him around, and they try to continue to build around him. I did text Taylor when the rumors came out, and as you might imagine, he was super excited for the opportunity. I talked to him about Milwaukee several times when he was in Memphis, and certainly enjoyed the experience there, enjoyed the organization. He's going back to a very familiar setting for him. So I think it's a very, very good hire by the Milwaukee Bucks, kind of sort of keeping it in the family. And it like I said, it may be a sales point to maybe they're going to keep Giannis. I don't know. We'll see.
I found it interesting. They said that Giannis has been in on other coach conversations before, but was not involved in this process, which, kind of led me to believe maybe he's not going to be around. And you certainly, from Haslam in his comments yesterday, you couldn't read anything into it at all. But I do think Taylor Jenkins is a pretty good coach, and I wish him the very best of luck there. We've had plenty of announcements along the way with the NBA. We had the Rookie of the Year, and I don't think Cooper Flagg winning that was a big shock to many. Although his Duke teammate Knuppel was definitely in the running. Wembanyama was the Defensive Player of the Year. He might win that 20 times. Who knows? Who do you think is the MVP? Could we see a repeat with SGA?
We could. Yeah, I mean, the voting took place before the playoffs. If it took place now, Jokic probably wouldn't stand a chance. So I think SGA, probably is as good a chance as anybody. He's been consistent. He's been a little bit under the radar. I mean, even though it's odd, people are talking about all the other series in the Oklahoma City series. They got rid of Phoenix in 4 games. So sounds odd to say, but it seems like Oklahoma City's flying a little bit under the radar, despite the fact that they're the champs.
Well, and not, they won 5 in a row. Well, really, you go back to the championship, it's at least 6 in a row. And Luka's not coming back. It sure seems now that is the case. They should just run through the Lakers. They got game 2 tonight, up 1-0.
They should, but it's the playoffs, and you never know. I mean, you saw a Minnesota team that was really good in game 1 against San Antonio. Last night, they were just atrocious. I mean, San Antonio was really good, but Minnesota just couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat.
Do you think that was a great performance by Minnesota in the first game, or this was a wake-up call for San Antonio, which, on paper, to me, is a better team than Minnesota?
I think San Antonio in the first. I mean, let's not forget, Wembanyama has only played a handful of playoff games. This
True.
San Antonio team was not in the playoffs last year, so and Portland is a good team, but they're kind of a one-man show with Avdia.
Mm-hmm.
This is an entirely different step up in competition. Meanwhile, you contrast San Antonio, relatively little playoff experience. Minnesota's been in the conference finals the last 2 years.
Right.
So I think there was a little bit of that collision in the first game, and now the second game, San Antonio was able to settle in, and Minnesota just had a really, really off night.
And I liked the way San Antonio upped the pace, and Fox was really terrific directing. It was fun to watch, no doubt about it. Pete, as always, good luck on Sunday. We'll chat next Thursday. We appreciate you.
Sounds good.
That is our voice of the Grizz on TV. That is Pete Pranica. He's brought to you by Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. If you're dreaming about that new beautiful home with all the modern amenities and something you've been working for your whole life, I urge you to go to kengarland.com. See what Ken and William, now third generation in the business, are all about. And then call and talk to them. They see the littlest detail and they see the big picture all at once. That's what you need with a team that's going to build your dream home or maybe renovate your older home and give you all their modern amenities. That is what they do, and they've been doing it for about 80 years. If you're ready to build the dream home, if you're ready to renovate with innovation, there's only one place to go. That would be Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. Not sure where we're headed. Where is Tim Doolin today? But we got to talk some baseball with our baseball guy. He comes your way in a minute.
Let Bryant Dacus and Brett Norsworthy take you home every afternoon. Sports Time on Sports 56. Weekdays from 3 to 6 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-466-9625. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-466-9625.
Hallmark Cards presents Mother's Day at Walgreens. Celebrate every mother figure in your life with a Hallmark card at Walgreens. Show how much she means to you and how deeply she's loved. A Hallmark card is the perfect way to say thank you for all she does. Don't forget, Mother's Day is Sunday, May 10th. Visit Walgreens today to find the perfect Hallmark Mother's Day card and make her feel truly special. Mother's Day means Hallmark cards at Walgreens.
A long life is wonderful, but it comes with changes as you age. So when you're ready to change your home, Town Village Audubon Park is the perfect choice. Incredible location, amazing amenities, including a pool, all-inclusive dining, and on-site medical care so you can age in place. Monthly rental with no buy-in lets you make current choices. Apartments include full kitchen, washer and dryer, bi-weekly housekeeping, and all basic utilities. Landscape courtyards make it easy to get sunshine and fresh air. Gated parking keeps you ready to go. And the Town Village Dog Park keeps your fur baby close by your side. Hi, I'm Max. My wife Jean and I moved into Town Village Audubon Park 18 months ago. It's the best decision we ever made. We have made friends here and take part in lots of social activities. It's a comfortable life. So if you're thinking of making a change, come see me and Town Village Audubon Park. I think you'll like it as much as we do. And look, new friends.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Interesting night in baseball last night. For the third straight game, the Cubs were winners in a walk-off. I don't know, Tim Doolin, if I've ever heard of a single team winning 3 straight games in a walk-off. Have you?
No, I have not. But it's pretty amazing.
I know it. It's clutch. Now, last night it was a walk, but
it doesn't matter. It don't matter if you walk it off. You walk it off, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it. Now you got to start taking the Cubs seriously. They have won 8 straight, 14 in a row at Wrigley Field. This came on the heels of a 10-game winning streak. And they're now 3.5 games up on St. Louis in what, by record now, is the best division in all of baseball. The National League Central is absolutely the best division in baseball. St. Louis, to me, might be the biggest surprise. Over 500, 3.5 games out.
Well, I think, the new regime, a veteran general manager having come from Boston, obviously he right now it looks like he made all the right moves, and I think they've got enough young players that are playing really, really hungry. I mean, Weatherholt, a prodigy kid that they got in the draft, has had a fast track to the big leagues and is really putting up rookie of the year type numbers thus far. I know it's early, but he's a really, really good player, and they've got. They made a big trade to acquire Blaze Jordan. I was just with him this past weekend, and
he's hit a bunch of home runs too, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got 8 home runs already, and I wouldn't be shocked to see if a bat goes down or a position player goes down that he's going to be getting the call to the big leagues. And I do think he'll be in the big leagues this year, and he had some more, bump in the lineup that's already swinging it really good. Jordan Walker's having a good year. I'm glad to see him come back because they rushed him too quick, Wolo. And this kid, people don't realize this guy is 6'6", 6'7", 250 pounds, and looks like Bo Jackson. And he's playing really well. So yeah, I mean, and the Cubs, I think they've just assembled a really, really good baseball team.
And they've had so many injuries that they've overcome. When the whole team is back, I do think they are a World Series contender. Back to Blaze Jordan and the Cardinals, and I hope he does get his chance. But I was not aware until I just read this story recently that he had undergone, and I don't know if this was with his prior team or when he first joined the Cardinals. I believe it was in. It was
while he was with Boston.
With Boston, okay, and this was at Single A, where here's a guy who's had incredible success. He's on his own for the first time. He's a pretty young guy. He had some mental health issues.
I think it was a combination of everything, Wolo, and he's obviously open and out front about it. We talked a little bit about it the other night, and he's in a great place right now, and obviously doing well. And you and I talked about him for years. I've had him since he was 5, and how fast at 12 years old he's climbing through the social media ranks and millions of followers. And I mean, literally, Wolo, we would go to play in tournaments when he was 12, 13, 14, all the way up. And, you envision like a wagon wheel of fields. Whenever he came up, every team that was waiting to play on the respective fields and parents, when he came to bat, they all flocked just to watch him do what he does.
Right.
And so I think the pressure of that going through, COVID, that was tough for everybody. I know it was tough on me. But all of that happened at once, and I think it just piled up on him. And, I credit him. I credit the Redbirds. I credit Major League Baseball for, making these issues more aware, because people don't realize how hard the game of baseball is, especially having to try to grind through the minor leagues like he did and like I did and everybody does. It's just hard. It's not what people, perceive it to be. You're on buses, you're living in not great conditions, and you're trying to work your way through 4 levels of baseball to get to the big leagues. And not many people get that opportunity.
Do you think that it helped to come home? Because he's from South Haven, right? So now he can live with his parents if he. I'm not saying he is, but he could if he wanted to really get comfortable.
I think that's part of it. I mean, when he got traded last year, he struggled a little bit, and I think part of it was him trying to balance, all the people, all of his friends and family that comes to the game and expects tickets and expects, time from him off the field. I think he figured that out and balanced it out. I think he does stay at home sometimes, but they, with the union, the teams have to find places for him. So he's got an apartment in downtown, close to AutoZone Park. So I think he's just in a good place right now, and he's back to doing what he does, and that's impact that baseball. He can really hit the ball.
It is amazing. You're here for a week now. You have a guaranteed 1 day off. And then you play 6 games against the same team, either home or you're in the same city, which makes traveling a little easier. And you think this is a good thing for the players?
I think it is. What's tough about it is, and I was talking to one of my other players the other day, is like, you've got to be making adjustments every day because you're facing the same team for 6 games. If they get you out the first couple of nights, they're going to keep doing that until you make adjustments.
Right.
If you're having success, they got to make adjustments. So even though when I played, we would play like 3 or 4 games series and then travel to the next city and play 3 or 4 more and then a day off. I think they've now done it this way just because I think it saves on travel and saves on budget.
Absolutely, it was a budget move. Yeah.
Yep, and so I don't think it's as tough as having to travel twice in 1 week on a road trip. I mean, we would go on 12-day road trips, and that was very taxing. And back when I played, we'd fly from a long ways to play the next city sometimes. So, but yeah, I think Blaze Jordan is in a very good place right now, and he's got a great support staff with his family and with he loves playing for Ben Johnson. Ben played at Germantown High School for Phil Clark. I used to give him hitting lessons. That's how old I am. But Blaze loves playing for the guy.
You think Ben Johnson will be a major league manager?
I think he could be. I mean, he's one of those guys that have grinded it out, and he's grinded, his career through all the changes from old school baseball, I call it, to the analytics. And so he's very well versed on it. I've talked to him on the phone a few times, and I think he'd be a great manager. But there's only 30 managers right now, and even though there's quite a bit of turnover, it's just right place, right time, much like it is to how difficult it is trying to get to the big leagues as a player.
Yeah. We inducted Ben Johnson into the Memphis Amateur Sports Hall of Fame earlier this year, and the Phil Clark connection came up, and I just started thinking, Phil Clark, how many different young men through baseball did he affect in his lifetime?
Oh, he touched a lot of guys. I mean, and I was fortunate enough to know him for a long time when he was at Skyview.
I did too.
Where he got started. He played with Charlie Lee, one of my best friends, and he was just he was a throwback guy that was just a gritty guy that instilled that work ethic and discipline in all of his players. People don't realize it, but I think that the most impact you have on kids, you don't really realize it until they come back and they're doctors and lawyers and coaches. And Ben Johnson's a manager now. All the things that you try to instill with them with your with your philosophy of playing a game, it teaches you a lot. And Phil Clark was amazing at that.
No, he and an amazing guy. There's no doubt about it. We had a little controversy in baseball this week. Detroit pitcher Framber Valdez, frustrated after giving up back-to-back home runs, hit Boston shortstop Trevor Story, and then the benches erupted, and it turns out that Valdez gets a 5-game suspension, which is basically one start. His manager, who, by the way, did not support him at all, got a 1-game suspension. After the game, A.J. Hinch basically said, we don't do things like that. Because Valdez was saying that ball just got away. He didn't mean to hit him. And A.J. Hinch was basically saying, yeah, he hit him on purpose. And we don't do that. And that was not called for. Do you find it interesting the manager who did not support him still got suspended a game?
Well, because I think he got thrown out. I think he got thrown out of the game. It kind of is doing proper protocol is to defend your player. Sometimes you got to defend your player even when he's not in the right, and I think that's exactly what he did. And I don't know why you suspend him, however they did, but I think one of the difficult things is like if you're frustrated, be frustrated with yourself because you're the one that's throwing those cookies over the middle of the plate and let them hit them out. And then Trevor Story's a veteran. If you're gonna do it, it needs to be below the waist. And he went up and in at his shoulders, which is totally uncalled for. And then players have ways of being interviewed without lying as blatantly as he did. I mean, come on. So I know it's part of the game, but yet I think there's other ways to go on about doing it. If a hitter hits a home run and he shows you up and bat flips and takes 20 seconds to get around the bases, and then the next guy does it, it's a different story. But it wasn't Trevor Story's fault.
No, it was Valdez. I don't feel bad for him. I do kind of feel bad for Hinch because he was basically saying the Detroit Tigers don't do this. And
first of all, saying the Detroit Tigers don't do that, he shouldn't have said that. We just don't play the game that way because every it happened, and it's an unwritten. You don't have to go tell. You would never tell a pitcher hit this guy. It's just understood that that's how it works. And so pitching inside, a little bit different. Below the waist, a little bit different. But at your head, you're messing with guys' careers.
SEC baseball still kind of bunched, although it looks like Georgia is the very best team. They're 18-6 in the league. A&M and Texas behind it, 15-8. Auburn 16-10. Mississippi State, I think, still 14-10. Who do you think really is the best team in the SEC?
I mean, it's so hard to say. Of course, obviously, you're looking at the records and running off what you just said. Georgia's definitely, I think, the cream. You got Texas is right there. A&M has actually had a big time rebound. Auburn's really good. So I don't know that there is a best team. The best team's going to be the team that gets to Omaha, and I think they've got a shot of getting 3 or 4 teams into Omaha. It'll be interesting to see. As of right now, according to D1, they've got Georgia obviously hosting. Southern Miss and Hattiesburg will host, and
really?
Ole Miss is predicted to be in that regional.
Wow. Okay. How many SEC teams in the tournament total?
Predicted 1, 2, 3, 4.
Got to be 10 teams.
I think there's 9 or 10.
Okay. How many hosting? 5?
6. Oh no, there's more than that. 1, Mississippi State, Auburn, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Texas.
6 teams. Wow. 6 hosting, 10 in, I think. Typical SEC year. Tim Doolin, as always, we appreciate it. We'll do this again next Thursday.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you. That is our man on baseball. That is Tim Doolin. He's brought to you by his favorite golf course, Miramichi. Miramichi, what a beautiful place Miramichi is. I'm serious. Every time I go out there, I play the first hole and I look back and I look at the 360 expanse and I just go, this property They knew what they were doing when they built this thing. It was supposed to be a country club. Doc Mitchell did his first place that ever had bent grass greens. They were revolutionaries then. And then when Justin Timberlake bought it, he just put so much money in it. He made it beautiful because it was already beautiful, but he enhanced it. And now Fred Edmiston owns it. Cheryl runs it, and it's top notch. It's just gorgeous. And wait till it becomes growing weather. They can really get it in the best condition it's ever been in. I'm telling you right now, for this time of the year, the greens are in about as good a shape as I've ever seen them before. And it's the true golf experience. It can be tough. You can play it back over 7,000 yards like the NCAA tournaments there that have been held will play it, or the AJGA, or you can play it up like I now play because I'm old. But it's still a challenge. And then there's the amenities. There's the deck on 9 and 18 above it with the best view in Shelby County. There's the complete food and beverage bar and restaurant they have within the clubhouse that it's fun to be around. They've always got the sports on the TV and just good people. It's the total golf experience, Miramichi is, and not in Millington. It's in Woodstock. It's 25 minutes from my driveway in East Memphis. Go check it out. You can thank me later. Go get that golf done at Miramichi. We take a quick time out. When we come back, downtown we go. The Hall of Famer, a proud grandpa. He was at the kids' procession. I see what that is. Some sort of procession this morning. We'll get filled in from Jarvis Greer in just a minute.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Men, if you're tired of relying on pills and want lasting, natural performance in the bedroom, Bluff City Health and Wellness offers Apex RF. Backed by clinical research, this discreet 15-minute, non-surgical treatment boosts blood flow, sensitivity, and confidence. No pills, no needles, no side effects. Appointments are filling fast. Call Bluff City Health and Wellness today at 901-800-7606 or take the ED quiz at bchwonline.com. Bluff City Health and Wellness, your confidence in the bedroom naturally.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Napa Cafe celebrates 28 years in 2026.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. If you are a first-time guest or have dined with us countless times, I want to thank you for making us part of your lives. Whether you're celebrating with the crowd or planning a cozy date night on the town, Napa Cafe can provide you an extraordinary evening. We have 5 dining rooms, including our private wine cellar, our Jan's room for 2 guests, and the Eleanor room for parties up to 60. Sit back, relax, and celebrate. Leave the cooking to us. Come see me at Napa Cafe, 5101 Sanderlin Avenue. We're open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. We also offer curbside pickup from our full menu. For details on our stay-in, dine-out menu or reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. We can't wait to serve you.
Come join in and celebrate 28 years of Napa Cafe in 2026.
In today's fast-moving job market, staying ahead means keeping your skills sharp. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we help keep your capabilities cutting edge with our skills-based education programs designed to move your career forward. Explore more than 135 degrees and certificates in business, cybersecurity, and more. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 13th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Shell.
This Mother's Day, the perfect gift is from Gould's. Choose the Mom's Escape package, which includes a shampoo and blowout with style, signature facial, relaxation massage, and a free Babor face serum while supplies last. Or buy Mom a $100 gift card and get $10 off. Offers good through May 10th at any Gould's location. Gould's is always the perfect gift for Mother's Day, with salon and spa services as well as the best hair and skincare products. Gould's Salon Spa, a legacy of style, care, and community since 1932. Happy Mother's Day from Gould's.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Welcome back in. We're heading downtown, I think. Truth be told, a little inside baseball. I always talk to Jarvis before the show. Just want to check in with him, see what's going on, sort of go over a game plan. So I call his phone, and he lets it answer, and I think he's in like a class. Then he writes me he's in the Grand's procession. What were they graduating today? What's going on, Jarvis Greer?
No, it's the May procession. It's a Catholic school tradition. It honors Mother Mary, and I won't go into all the religious business, but it's a thing that Catholics do. I think other schools, other religions may have some sort of form of it, but they honor Mary, the mother of Jesus, and the mother of God, and that's where we were. And the kids come out, and they're Sunday finest, even though it's Thursday.
Yeah.
And they all have flowers that they place on. They have the statue of Mary, and that's what a Hail Mary is about. You ever say any Hail Marys today? Probably not, but you know what a Hail Mary is, and that's what it is. So it's a really neat deal, and the kids all have something to say, and it's a really, really nice thing. So they had that for the grandkids. All the grandkids today were taking part in that.
All right. I'm sorry that I nearly interrupted it, but I did listen for a little bit.
I didn't want to be rude, and answer the phone in the middle.
Right.
In the middle of it, because we usually do our little pre-show talk. But so that's where we were. And so on the way back, I just sent you something, Dave.
No, I saw that. You sent me back some video of the Tiger Stadium.
Of the Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. They are.
Well, now that they own it, we could actually call it Tiger Stadium.
Yeah, you could do that, and it's they're doing a lot of work in there, Dave. You take a look at the video, man. They're doing a lot of work on the inside and on the outside. You've seen the outside, where they're closing in. I forget what they call it. The area on the backside of that new tower that they built.
The Halo?
Glassing it.
The Halo?
Yeah, the Halo. Yeah, they're glassing it in now, and it really looks neat, and it's kind of futuristic. Not kind of, it is futuristic looking. And on the inside, they got all these work elevators going up and down as the guys are working on putting in seats. And they're not just doing tower; they're like doing a lot of work on the seats around the stadium, like a lot of the chairbacks. I don't know if they're adding more, but it looks like they might be adding more chairbacks lower down. It's a lot of work going on, and they're even doing work on the the side. It used to be what we call the skybox side. Now it's the press box
side. Yeah,
they're doing work over there too.
Well,
so
I am told,
big project.
Little Birdie told me, our producer Danny O'Brien, that they started to work on the windows, which means they're going to take them out. Yeah. And we'll have the ability to have open space there.
Yes, and it's like, anybody who's been in there knows it's kind of like a lattice work on the windows. But you can see out of them, but you can't open them. And now you'll be able to open them and, be in the elements and all that other kind of stuff, which I'm not all that crazy about when it gets cold or when it's really, really hot, because the sun's going to come down and be right in on top of it.
Well, just think of it this way. They'll be easier to clean. I had the same mud mound in front of me for 2 years.
True. Yeah. And also they're on the area behind the party deck. They're installing these LED screens, because there's going to be like huge LED screens behind the party. I mean, huge LED screens behind, like 12 feet tall or something. I don't know. It looks big. That's all I can say. But they I see it's $250 million. Well, they're putting in a lot of work. A lot of work is being done.
Well, I'll just say this to you. Anybody who has taken the tour or gone through the sales pitch to be in the tower and has seen the whole facility, they all come away with rave reviews. So I look forward to seeing this thing. And we got a game in September. So, and they say on time it's going to happen for sure. Speak at a time. I started this show by saying the clock is ticking on the lottery on Sunday. Where I should say, where were you when they got Ja? Have you? Now that you're working for Grind City, have you been involved at all in any of these lottery day things? Who's the rep? Pete Pranick talked to us earlier. He wasn't sure who was going to be there. I know that. I'm pretty sure it wasn't it Elliot Perry for Ja?
Yeah, it was Elliot Perry for John. He had his lucky rabbit foot, and we talked about that on our show yesterday. Grisby, 2 p.m. every Wednesday, Grind City Media, if you want to tune in. And we still don't know who the rep is going to be. But I was at work, during the lottery that got Ja, and it's like, okay, wow, we jumped from 6th, I think. Were we 6th or somewhere in there?
No, six has never moved up like that. 6 has been an unlucky number. Maybe it's due.
We were like, well, maybe we were 8.
Yeah, that's right. I think it was 8.
We moved into the top 4, and then they started calling the cards, and that was the same lottery that had the big boy down at New Orleans that played at Duke, and Zion Williamson, and they said, man, who's going to get it? And they picked. Our number came up at number 2. We get Ja Morant. I went screaming through the newsroom, and everybody was jumping up and down because everybody had seen all the highlights of Ja at Murray State. Because, Murray State's just right up the road where he went to school, and we all saw those playoff games that he had. He was a star in the playoffs and NCAA playoff games, and there's just nobody else like it. If we didn't get the number 1 pick in Zion Williamson, getting Ja Morant was fabulous for us. And it for a while there, it was the best thing going. I mean, he was must-see TV.
Oh, yeah.
The Forum was rocking whenever he played. He is an international superstar, and I can attest to that because I've been across the pond and seen the reaction to when he played and all the jerseys from people from all over the countries wearing 12s and call 12 and all this other kind of stuff. And so, it was a great run while it lasted. We'll see how, what happens if they package Ja and move him to get up, if they stay at 6, or they could stay at 6, or maybe they'll get lucky in the lottery and they'll move up in the top 4. If they move up in the top 4, they don't have to do any kind of trades or anything because there's good people in this draft. And, A.J. DeBanza is the consensus number 1. He's the 6'6" wing out of Duke, out of BYU. He can do anything and everything. And then it's the kid from Arizona who's kind of a little shaky because he plays and then sometimes he plays and sometimes he doesn't. But my pick, if we don't get the number 1 pick, would be Caleb Williams from North Carolina. 6'11", big man who can run the floor, rim runner, block shots. Just is a total freak athlete, and they need another big man to go along with Zach Edey. And
Caleb Wilson, you talking about?
Yeah, Caleb Wilson.
So if you got one of the top 2 picks, that's the way you would go. You would not go Peterson, because usually it's DeBanza and Peterson that are.
Yeah.
And what about
Darren Peterson? Right.
Yeah. What about
Darren Peterson? Is everybody likes him, and he's got a tremendous upside, but Caleb Wilson and also the kid from Duke. Who has got a great basketball pedigree, and his dad played, and his brother plays with him at Duke.
Boozer.
Cam Boozer is, I think he is the one with definitely what you're getting as far as, will he be a multi-time All-Star? I don't know, but he is a solid player, and he's a winner, and he's always been a winner wherever he's played. He's not the biggest. He may not be the most athletic, but he's extremely intelligent as a big man. And he just gets things done, and his floor is higher than anybody else's because, you don't expect him. He's going to give you the same. You know what you're going to get with him. Mm-hmm. He's almost like the finished product now. DeBanza could be off the chart, crazy good. And I think the same with Caleb Wilson. But, that's if he keeps progressing if both of them keep progressing like they are now.
All right, so let me ask you the Grizz philosophy and or your philosophy. Do you take the best athlete? So if you got one, would you go with DeBanza? Or maybe you would trade it to go down? Because if you're moving Ja, isn't your biggest need going to be a point guard? And there are so many great point guards in the top 10 players here.
Well, you know what? I'm still thinking that, Master P, as I call him, Robert Parra is going to go have a meeting somewhere on some island with Ja Morant and say, look, son, and they're not that far apart in age. He can speak the language, Robert Parra. He's not old. He may be one of the richest owners in the NBA, but he's also, I think he's the youngest by far.
He's a good 15 years older than John Morant.
Yeah, but he's still very young. That's not that old when you look at it. I mean, they basically speak the language. Remember, he was trying to play. He played in the during the Celebrity All-Star game and looked good actually. So I think that they'll have their last powwow and see what they're going to do. But if they trade, if they stay at 6 or fall back in the lottery, they'll definitely use Ja as trade bait. I think to try to move up. But if they get up there in 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 even, who knows what they'll do? They may not have to move Ja. They may wait and see what happens as they go forward.
Jarvo, I hear your hope. I understand your desire. Ja's not coming back.
They may wait until the summer, is what I'm saying, before they do something. They may not do. It depends on what happened May 10th. If everything,
I don't think they'll trade him until after the summer. I don't think this will be a part of the Well, it won't be early. It could be on draft day. I could see something happen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I could see something then, but I could also see them waiting until the summer, depending on where they draft. If they, to move Ja, if they're going to move.
Yep,
that's my opinion.
All right. Congrats on the Grands and the procession today, and
they look good too. They're all dressed to the nines, and they all look good.
We'll talk next Thursday. Thank you, my friend.
Okay. I'll send you some more pictures.
Okay. That's the Hall of Famer. That is Jarvis Greer. He's brought to you in part by Sheldon Rosengarten, Mark Spensdorf. The azaleas have bloomed, which means so have the real estate signs, and Sheldon's watching all the inventory, which has been increasing steadily since February. And with the rates holding steady, the market's been exploding with business. But to get that business, you need an agent who's affiliated with a nationwide relocation network, has a strategic marketing program, and a strong internet presence. You know who that is. That's my guy. That's Sheldon Rosengarten. Try reaching him at 483-0546. I promise you, he answers by the second ring, for sure. Well, unless he's shanking balls on the golf course or finding every pond and sand trap on the fairway, because he can't practice. He's always working for you. When you want the job done, call Sheldon. And he'll tell you, call 2 or 3 folks, but make sure he's one of them, and then you'll understand the strategy. He's always been told you got to plan your work, but you got to work your plan. That's the strategy he's got. He's been doing it for years. 483-0546 or MemphisRelocate.com. Sell that home. Get to the closing table with Sheldon Rosengarten, Mark Spensdorf. That'll do it for us. Penny Hardaway, hopefully tomorrow, right at 10:10. We'll see you then.